Hi, I'm Satyendra, your IELTS trainer, and today we're going to see a method to plan your writing. By writing, I mean both task 1 and task 2. Remember, this planning method is for only writing module. Okay, let's begin then. Why planning? Let me make one thing clear. You cannot afford to miss planning. You're thinking, well, maybe planning will take longer time. I might, waste time in like 5 to 7 seconds, a minutes in this. Why am I doing it? I've already 60 minutes to write both tasks. That's very true. But if you don't plan properly, this time is definitely not enough to write both the essays properly. That means what you can do, you won't be able to do properly. Now, secondly, the reason why you should plan is our thinking. First of all, do you believe in multitasking? I know some of you might be thinking, yeah, I do, I multitask every day. And you might be saying, I do, but please don't. Now, the reason you are thinking I do multitasking is I can eat and watch movie together. Right? You can say that, or watch TV together at the same time. Think about it. Is it really multitasking? I'm going to ask you to just watch TV or watch a movie without looking down ever in your food plate. Can you do that? Well, it's very difficult, right? You have to practice a lot. Secondly, you just eat. Don't look up and watch a TV. Not possible. The thing is, we have senses. That is to listen, to watch, that means to see. All these senses are working together. You're enjoying all of them together. Hence, you feel as if you're doing things together. All you're doing is quick switching. What is the meaning of quick switching? You are watching a TV or a TV series or a movie, and instantly you look down, have your bite, and look up. You are doing quick switching in everything. You cannot do multitasking. There's no way you can have your brain at one thing and then at the same time other thing. Instantly you can change it. So don't believe in multitasking, and that's what is the base of planning. See, when you're writing your letter or your essay, which we have discussed in earlier part, that in task 2 you get an essay. Let's take an example of an essay. And you start writing, you saw the question and you started writing the answer. What's gonna happen? You start writing and suddenly in the middle you realize, oh, I forgot to mention that point or this point. This is when you do without planning. That means you're doing multitasking now. According to you, you're thinking as well as writing at the same time. No, you're not doing at the same time. What you're doing right now is writing and suddenly you stop. So you stop your writing part and then you move on to thinking. This is gonna create trouble for you. And you see why multitasking is not possible and why we need a planning method in which you plan everything in prior and then write. So please never just start writing instantly. You gotta understand that. Good. Now let's see what happens in writing. In writing, you have task 1, just a short revision for that, quick revision, and task 2. In task 1, it depends on general training and academic, and for task 2, it's the same thing. In here, you get a letter, and here you get a report. For both, it's 150 words minimum. That means you have to write more than 150 words. Here you have to write 250 words, and here you have to write an essay. You see, writing these many words is not that easy without any planning. You cannot just start scribbling, and definitely not on a complex idea. Even on a simple idea, if you start writing, you might miss some kind of point. Let's say these are the major points you have to include and you missed one of them. Definitely not a good idea. So remember that there's a method for that, and that method is called power. I'm not talking about energy or power. This is just created method called power, and here P stands for planning. You're gonna see all of them 5 in detail. What happens in planning is, what you do is you look at a question first. So this is a question here, right? Actually, this is a statement. Question is here. Your task in planning is to read the question, understand the question type from here, and choose a side or choose whatever you need to choose according to the question, side or advantage or disadvantage, whatever it is. In this example, let's see how we do the planning phase. The first one out of the whole method. A person's worth nowadays seems to be judged according to the social status and material possessions. Old-fashioned values such as honor, kindness, and trust no longer seem important. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? I say I disagree. Okay, in planning, you choose your side. And I suggest you not choose emotionally. What I mean by emotionally, see, as soon as we hear a question about emotions or kids or obesity, we become emotional and we choose side accordingly. I suggest you not do that. You choose your side rationally. They are not checking your ethics. What they're checking is how good you can write in English. If you have more points towards agreement, let's say towards agreement, choose that side. Or if you have more points on disagreement, please choose that side. Don't become ethical or emotional. Be rational. You have to look your points into regard, your bends into regard rather than your ethics or your emotions. That's what we do in planning. Secondly, we underline the important words. So we are judged, social status, material possessions, and it's not other days, it's nowadays. That means this is present tense. That means our essay will be in present tense only, or maybe in past, because we have old-fashioned values which is honor, kindness, trust, and they're not important. These are things we have to take care. We have to think of vocabulary on these. We have to think of sentences on these. What do we know of these words? That's it. That's what happens in planning. I hope you understood this part. Second phase would be organizing. What happens in organizing? Well, let's take the same question. Earlier we understood what part we are taking. Let's say in my case, I'm taking disagree. Now in organizing, you're supposed to create boxes. These boxes gonna be like, first is introduction, then we have conclusion. These boxes are like paragraphs, and one paragraph equal to one particular idea. So I'm gonna provide here the reason to disagree. So my reason 1, my reason 2, or let's say a counter reason as well. So reason 3, but in counter, that is for agreement. This is the way of you write agreement or disagreement. Don't worry, we're gonna see how to write this kind of question later. But for now, I'm gonna write in 2 to 3 words. What is reason 1? What is reason 2? You see what is happening here. In exam, we can do this before writing, so that in exam directly we can start writing. We don't have to sit in the middle of the paper and suddenly stop and think of reason 1. What was the reason 1? Because we wrote it in the rough, that is in the question paper. Oh, this is the reason 1, this is the reason 2. We don't have to mess up the sequence either. Now we know the sequence. Good, this is what we do in organizing. See, organizing phase won't work until you understand planning. In our planning, we understood that we have to disagree using a rational method, not emotional or anything ethical, but a rational method. Based on the disagreement, we have points now. Right. I'm not saying you always disagree. It's up to you. Well, you can agree. But based on planning, you did organizing. And based on this organization, you start writing. The writing phase is something which has nothing to explain. You just start writing. But take care of few things. If you're writing pen and paper, which I highly recommend, take care of your handwriting. Okay, mine is horrible. I hope you get it better. It doesn't have to be calligraphy. It doesn't have to be fancy. It has to be just legible. Legible, I mean, is you can read it. Okay, it doesn't have to be great. It has to be readable or legible. Clear? Good. Once you finish your writing, you go into evaluating phase. Evaluating is, let's say I have written paragraph 1, paragraph 2 here, and my paragraph 3. So we have 3 different paragraphs. In these we have one concrete idea, and I've discussed this idea, and idea 1 is this, and then we have idea 2. Have I missed anything in description? Should I have added more to make it better? You know, you always write with a pencil. You know that. You can erase and write more later. So we have idea 3 as well here, let's say. Have I missed anything else apart from this? The logical part. If you have missed anything, you add here. That's just evaluating. You understand that all major ideas are being discussed. That's the reason we have evaluating as the phase. By the way, we have here S here. We can have Z. Z is for American and S is for UK. There's no difference apart from that. It's not incorrect. Okay. And the last one is revising. Same goes here. We can have S or Z depending on UK, US. Revising is nothing but checking your spellings and your grammar. Trust me, you will get at least 5 to 10 mistakes in your spellings and 5 to 10 mistakes in your grammar. It doesn't matter how good you are or how bad you are in your English. When we are writing, we are into writing. We just start, we never stop. We never even worry if we are making spelling mistakes. And we do. I have seen I myself writing, instead of this, I write this, sometime in a hurry. So that can happen. That doesn't mean that you don't know how to spell one, but in exam, this will be considered a mistake. Why don't you solve it? Why don't you rectify your own mistake? And in revising, it is not like evaluating. You just have to read words quickly. You don't have to, understand the whole passage or whole paragraph. You just keep reading words and you try to understand that, oh, there's a mistake. Let me erase it and write the correct spelling. If it is grammatically incorrect, you quickly make few corrections and it's done. This will not take, overall, whole method will not take more than 6 minutes if you practice properly before that. Initially, it will take definitely 10 to 11 minutes. Then later, it will be 6 minutes. That is, I think, fine. Out of 60 minutes, if you spend 6 minutes, that will be 54 minutes. If you have planned properly, if you are organized properly, it takes not more than 25 minutes to write the answer. That is your writing, part 2 I'm talking about. And part 1, well, you have plenty of time then. Clear? So this method has to be followed in order to understand the question as well as plan an answer and write and then recheck. So that's like a foolproof method where you can get as much as you can, out of the one which you've written in writing. It's applicable for both task 1 and task 2. Okay. So let's just see in a quick succession. We have planning, organizing, writing, evaluating, and revising. I am pretty sure you will remember this easily using the word power. And once you do, please use it in exam. And you can write in question paper anything you want. So in question paper, you just get a question on the top and below it's all empty. So you have enough space to write this. They don't mind what you write in question paper. In answer sheet, you have to write directly the answer. You cannot write planning in your answer sheet. Remember that. Please write it in question paper. Good. And that's the end of our chapter. I suggest you write an essay and send it to me. I'll definitely check it for you, but please do planning before that. That means, the whole method of planning, which is planning, organizing, writing, evaluating, revising. I know there's a word called planning, which is part of planning, but this planning, it does mean differently than the other one. Okay. If you didn't understand anything, please write a comment or you can write to my email ID. And if you enjoyed the video, great. I hope you had a good time. See you later. Bye-bye.